On the edge of Palm Beach, Florida, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, stands an estate that doesn't feel like a home. 128 rooms spread across 20 acres, gold leaf ceilings, 36,000 antique Spanish tiles, a 75-foot tower modeled after the one in Seville. Magnificent, yes, but that's just the marble. Behind these walls lived the loneliest woman in America. 4 husbands who married her fortune and left. A daughter she groomed for empire who became an actress instead. And a dream that this palace could become a winter White House, a place where America's leaders would gather and unite. Then rejection, abandonment, 8 years sitting empty. To preserve her legacy, she gave Mar-a-Lago to the United States government as a gift. They refused it. Too expensive, too impractical, not wanted. And there's more. A woman who had everything money could buy and nothing it couldn't. An art collection stolen by a divorcing husband, a fortune that attracted parasites, not partners, and a final humiliation she never lived to see. The man who bought her palace for pennies and transformed her dream of unity into a symbol of division. Can wealth make you happy if it guarantees you'll die alone? And what does it mean when the grandest gesture of your life, giving your home to your country, is rejected as worthless? And the real question, how did Mar-a-Lago, built as a paradise, become the prison that destroyed America's richest heiress? If you enjoy deep investigations into Gilded Age wealth and the human cost of having everything, please like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which tragic heiress story to explore next. Your support makes these detailed stories possible. Thank you for being here. Let's begin. March 15th, 1887. Marjorie Merriweather Post is born in Springfield, Illinois. Her father, Charles William Post, is 32 years old, struggling and on the edge of nervous collapse. He has failed at multiple businesses. He suffers from what doctors call neurasthenia, nervous exhaustion, depression, physical breakdown. In 1891, Charles checks himself into the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan, a health resort run by Dr. John Harvey Kellogg. The sanitarium promotes a vegetarian diet, exercise, and experimental treatments for nervous disorders. Charles does not recover from the treatments, but he learns something. Americans are obsessed with health foods. Dr. Kellogg serves patients a coffee substitute made from roasted grains. Charles tastes it and sees opportunity. In 1895, Charles leaves the sanitarium and invents Postum, a coffee substitute made from roasted wheat bran, wheat, and molasses. He markets it as a healthier alternative to coffee, which he claims causes nervous disorders. The timing is perfect. America's middle class is growing. People want products that promise health and modernity. Postum sells. Within a year, Charles is making $250,000 annually, roughly $9 million today. In 1997, Charles invents Grape Nuts, a breakfast cereal made from wheat and barley. The name is pure marketing fiction. It contains neither grapes nor nuts, but it sounds healthy. Grape Nuts becomes a national phenomenon. By 1900, Charles William Post is a multimillionaire. By 1910, his Postum cereal company is worth approximately $20 million, roughly $600 million today. Young Marjorie, his only child, watches her father build an empire from grain and marketing, but she also watches him suffer. Despite his wealth, Charles remains plagued by depression, insomnia, and chronic pain. On May 9, 1914, Charles William Post dies by suicide. He shoots himself at his ranch in California. He is 59 years old. He leaves his entire fortune to Marjorie. She is 27 years old. Marjorie Merriweather Post becomes the wealthiest woman in America, and she is already learning the lesson that will haunt her entire life. Money cannot buy happiness, but it can buy the illusion of control. In 1905, at age 18, Marjorie marries Edward Bennett Close, a lawyer from a respectable family. The marriage lasts 5 years. They divorce in 1910. No children, no scandal, just incompatibility. Marjorie later reflects that Edward was a nice man, but not someone who understood her ambitions or her fortune. First lesson: marrying someone from your social class does not guarantee compatibility. In 1914, shortly after her father's death, Marjorie marries Edward Francis Hutton, a wealthy financier and co-founder of E.F. Hutton and Company, one of Wall Street's most prestigious brokerage firms. This marriage is different. Hutton is wealthy in his own right. He doesn't need Marjorie's money, or so it seems. The marriage produces 2 daughters, Eleanor Post Hutton, 1909 to 2006, later known as actress Dina Merrill. For the first time, Marjorie seems happy. Hutton is charming, sophisticated, socially prominent. They travel, they entertain, they build a life together. But cracks appear. Hutton is domineering. He wants control over Marjorie's fortune. He insists on managing her investments, ostensibly to help, but also to assert authority. Marjorie resists. The Postum cereal company is her inheritance. She will not surrender it. In 1919, Marjorie makes a strategic decision. She merges Postum Cereal Company with other food brands to create General Foods Corporation, one of the largest food companies in America. Brands under General Foods: Postum, Grape Nuts, Maxwell House Coffee, acquired 1928, Jell-O, acquired 1925, Bird's Eye Frozen Foods, acquired 1929, dozens more. By 1925, General Foods is worth over $250 million, approximately $4.5 billion today. Marjorie is not just wealthy, she is one of the wealthiest people in the world. But her marriage to Hutton is deteriorating. By the early 1920s, they are living increasingly separate lives. Hutton focuses on his brokerage, Marjorie focuses on her growing empire and her social ambitions. They do not divorce yet, but the emotional distance grows, and Marjorie begins planning something that will define the rest of her life. A palace, a perfect home, a place where wealth can finally create happiness. She will call it Mar-a-Lago. In 1924, Marjorie purchases land in Palm Beach, Florida. Palm Beach is America's winter playground for the ultra-wealthy. The Vanderbilts, Astors, and Rockefellers all own estates there. But Marjorie wants something different. She wants the grandest estate in Palm Beach, not just a winter house, a monument. She hires architect Marion Sims Wyeth and interior designer Joseph Urban, both prominent in society architecture circles. Her vision is specific and ambitious. Theme: Spanish Moorish palace inspired by Seville, Spain, mixed with Venetian and Portuguese elements. Location: a rare 20-acre parcel stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to Lake Worth, the only estate in Palm Beach with ocean-to-lake frontage. The name Mar-a-Lago means sea to lake in Spanish. Size: 128 rooms, including 58 bedrooms, 33 bathrooms, 3 bomb shelters, concerns about kidnapping or attack, ballroom, movie theater, multiple living rooms and dining rooms, staff quarters for 60-plus servants. Materials: 36,000 antique Spanish tiles imported from Spain, gold leaf on ceilings, Dorian stone from a quarry Marjorie purchased specifically for this project, marble from Italy, carved stone and woodwork. Cost: approximately $7 million, 1927 dollars, equals roughly $125 million today. Construction takes 3 years, 1924 to 1927. During construction, Marjorie is meticulous. She travels to Europe to personally select tiles, stone, and furnishings. She hires craftsmen from Italy and Spain. She supervises details obsessively. Mar-a-Lago is not just a house, it is her masterpiece, her proof that wealth, properly applied, can create perfection. The estate opens in 1927. Journalists describe it as the most beautiful estate in America. Architectural magazines feature it extensively. Photographs show the 75-foot Moorish tower inspired by La Giralda in Seville, the gold-leaf ceilings in the ballroom, the loggia overlooking the Atlantic, the imported Spanish tiles lining hallways, the formal gardens designed by landscape architects. Marjorie hosts her first party at Mar-a-Lago in February 1927. Over 500 guests attend. The ballroom glows with chandeliers. Servants in livery serve champagne. An orchestra plays. Marjorie stands in her creation and for a moment believes the dream is real. Wealth can create happiness. Beauty can fill loneliness. This palace will be the home she never had. She is wrong, but it will take decades for her to realize it. For the first few years, Mar-a-Lago seems to fulfill its promise. Marjorie spends every winter there, November to April. She hosts lavish parties. Diplomats, politicians, socialites, Hollywood stars, all are invited. The parties are legendary. Themed costume balls, guests dress as Venetian nobles, Spanish royalty, etc. Formal dinners for 100 plus, served on gold-rimmed china, crystal, and silver. Concerts and performances, orchestras, opera singers, dancers, charitable events. Marjorie is generous, hosts fundraisers frequently. Newspapers cover these events breathlessly. Marjorie is photographed in elegant gowns, dripping with jewels. She is the epitome of American aristocracy. But behind the glamour, cracks are forming. The cost. Mar-a-Lago costs approximately $250,000 annually to maintain. 1930s dollars equals roughly $5 million today. The expenses are staggering. 60-plus full-time staff, butlers, maids, gardeners, chefs, chauffeurs, utilities, heating, cooling, electricity for 128 rooms, maintenance, constant repairs, upkeep of imported materials, property taxes, insurance. Marjorie can afford it. General Foods generates millions annually, but the cost is psychological as much as financial. Mar-a-Lago is too large to be a home. It is a hotel where Marjorie lives alone. The marriage collapses. By 1930, Marjorie's marriage to E.F. Hutton is effectively over. They maintain appearances publicly, attending events together, smiling for photographs, but privately they are estranged. Hutton resents Marjorie's wealth and independence. He wanted a wife he could control. Marjorie is too powerful, too autonomous. In 1935, they divorce. The divorce is amicable on paper, but emotionally it is devastating for Marjorie. She is 48 years old. She has been married twice. Both marriages failed. Second lesson: wealth makes it impossible to know if someone loves you or your money. And now Marjorie is alone at Mar-a-Lago. 128 rooms, 60 servants, and no one to share it with. In 1935, Marjorie meets Joseph Edward Davies, a lawyer, diplomat, and charming opportunist. Davies is handsome, sophisticated, politically connected. He has served in government positions. He has ambitions of becoming an ambassador. He courts Marjorie aggressively. He tells her he loves her for who she is, not what she has. Marjorie, lonely and desperate for connection, believes him. They marry in December 1935. Marjorie is 48, Davies is 58. Davies immediately begins leveraging Marjorie's wealth and connections for his own career. Through Marjorie's political connections and substantial financial contributions to the Democratic Party, Joseph Davies is appointed U.S. ambassador to the Soviet Union in 1936. Marjorie accompanies him to Moscow. She uses her wealth to decorate the American embassy lavishly. She hosts dinners for Soviet officials, diplomats, and foreign dignitaries. Davies writes detailed reports on Stalin and the Soviet regime. His assessments are often naive. He is charmed by Soviet propaganda and underestimates Stalin's brutality. But Marjorie loves this life. She is not just a wealthy socialite, she is an ambassador's wife. She has purpose, diplomatic importance. For the first time in years, she feels valued for more than her money. But it is an illusion. 1938 to 1940, Davies becomes ambassador to Belgium. Davies is reassigned to Belgium in 1938. Marjorie accompanies him again. She continues hosting, entertaining, supporting his career. But privately, the marriage is deteriorating. Davies is demanding, controlling, unfaithful. He treats Marjorie as a financial and social asset, not a partner. And then, in 1940, Davies does something unforgivable: the art collection theft. During their marriage, Marjorie acquires an extraordinary art collection, one of the finest private collections in America. Works by Rembrandt, Van Dyck, Fabergé. Marjorie is the largest private collector of Fabergé eggs outside Russia. French Impressionists, Renaissance masters. The collection is worth millions, tens of millions in today's dollars. In 1940, as their marriage collapses, Davies and Marjorie negotiate a divorce settlement. Davies demands and receives a significant portion of Marjorie's art collection. The exact terms are not fully public, but according to family accounts and estate records, Davies walks away with paintings, sculptures, and other pieces worth approximately $1 to $2 million, 1940s dollars, equals $20 to $40 million today. Marjorie is devastated. These are not just possessions. This is her collection, pieces she personally selected, purchased, cherished. And her husband, who married her claiming to love her, has taken them as spoils of divorce. Third lesson: even men who seem sophisticated and cultured want only your money. Marjorie divorces Joseph Davies in 1955. They separated in 1940, but the final divorce took years due to legal complexities. She is 68 years old. She has been married 3 times, all failed. And she returns to Mar-a-Lago, alone, again. For the next 18 years, Marjorie lives primarily at Mar-a-Lago. She continues hosting parties. She continues her charitable work. She continues maintaining the facade of a glamorous, fulfilled life. But people close to her report a different reality: the isolation. Mar-a-Lago is a prison of her own making. The estate is so large that Marjorie often goes days seeing only servants. The rooms echo with emptiness. She eats dinner alone most nights, served by a butler in the formal dining room, sitting at a table that seats 30. She walks the gardens alone. She sits in the loggia, overlooking the ocean, alone. Friends visit, but they do not stay long. Mar-a-Lago is intimidating, overwhelming. Guests feel uncomfortable, out of place. Marjorie tries to fill the void with activity. Charitable work. She donates millions to hospitals, universities, cultural institutions, the Smithsonian. She donates significant art and artifacts. Collecting. She continues acquiring art, antiques, furnishings. Her collections grow to museum quality. Entertaining. She hosts diplomatic receptions, charity galas, society events. But the events feel increasingly hollow. Performances for an audience, not genuine connection. Fourth marriage, another failure. In 1958, at age 71, Marjorie marries for the 4th and final time. Her husband, Herbert A. May, a businessman 12 years her junior. The marriage is brief and unhappy. May is charming but insubstantial. Friends describe him as a gigolo, interested in Marjorie's wealth, not Marjorie. They divorce in 1964 after 6 years. Marjorie is 77 years old. She has been married 4 times. Every marriage failed. Final lesson? Wealth guarantees you will never know if you are loved. And now Marjorie faces the reality she has been avoiding for decades. She will die alone. Mar-a-Lago, her dream palace, has become her tomb. Marjorie has 2 daughters from her marriage to E.F. Hutton, Adele Breeskin, who lives a relatively private life, and Eleanor Post Hutton, who becomes Dina Merrill, a Hollywood actress. Marjorie grooms Dina to inherit her empire. She wants Dina to take over General Foods, manage the fortune, continue the legacy. But Dina chooses differently. In the 1940s and 1950s, Dina pursues an acting career. She stars in films and television. She becomes moderately successful, not a superstar, but a working actress with a respectable career. Marjorie is horrified. An actress, this is not what she envisioned for her daughter. Marjorie wants Dina at Mar-a-Lago, hosting parties, managing the estate, preparing to inherit. Dina wants independence, a life that is hers, not defined by her mother's fortune. The relationship becomes strained. They maintain contact, but the warmth is gone. Marjorie feels betrayed. She built an empire. She created Mar-a-Lago, and her daughter rejects it. Dina sees what Marjorie cannot. Mar-a-Lago is not a home. It is a monument to loneliness. And inheriting it would mean inheriting the loneliness too. Dina chooses freedom over fortune, and Marjorie is left alone again. By the mid-1960s, Marjorie is in her late 70s. Her health is declining. She knows she does not have many years left, and she makes a decision that she believes will give her life meaning. She will donate Mar-a-Lago to the United States government to be used as a winter White House. The idea is not entirely original. Presidents have used private estates before. FDR used his Hyde Park estate. Eisenhower used his Gettysburg farm. Kennedy used the family compound in Hyannisport. But these were private retreats, not official residences. Marjorie envisions something grander. Mar-a-Lago as a permanent winter White House, a place where presidents and foreign dignitaries can gather away from Washington in a setting of beauty and diplomacy. She imagines state dinners in the ballroom, summit meetings in the formal rooms, presidents relaxing on the ocean terrace, America's leaders united in her palace. This vision gives Marjorie purpose. She believes Mar-a-Lago can serve America, that her wealth, her creation, can contribute to something larger than herself. In 1972, Marjorie updates her will. Upon her death, Mar-a-Lago and its furnishings will be donated to the United States government for use as a winter White House. She includes a $1 million endowment to help cover initial maintenance costs. Marjorie tells friends and family about her decision. She is proud, excited, convinced this is her legacy. She dies believing this dream will come true. She is wrong. September 12, 1973, Marjorie Merriweather Post dies at her Washington, D.C. estate, Hillwood, at age 86. She dies of natural causes, old age, heart failure. She is surrounded by staff but no family at the moment of death. Her funeral is held in Washington. Dignitaries attend. Obituaries describe her as America's richest woman, philanthropist, society queen. The obituaries also mention her greatest achievement as she saw it. Mrs. Post bequeathed her Palm Beach estate, Mar-a-Lago, to the United States government to serve as a winter White House. Marjorie's executors begin the process of transferring Mar-a-Lago to federal ownership, and that's when everything falls apart. The U.S. government evaluates Mar-a-Lago as a potential winter White House. The assessment? Pros: beautiful estate, well-maintained, impressive facilities, suitable for state functions. Private, secure, ocean-to-lake property, defensible. Cons: annual maintenance cost, approximately $1 million 1970s dollars. Security costs additional, $500,000 plus, Secret Service, secure communications, etc. Location: Palm Beach is not practical, far from Washington, requires significant travel. Size: too large, 128 rooms is excessive, most would sit unused. Optics: too opulent. Post-Watergate, post-Vietnam era, Americans are suspicious of government extravagance.
The decision. In 1974, the U.S. government declines the gift. The official reason: maintenance costs exceed the practical value of the property for government use. Unofficial reasons, according to contemporary accounts: no president wants to be seen vacationing in a gilded palace while Americans struggle economically. Security concerns: too exposed, difficult to defend. Political optics: accepting a billionaire's mansion looks corrupt. Marjorie's executors are shocked. The government doesn't want it? They try again. 1980, the National Park Service attempt. The estate offers Mar-a-Lago to the National Park Service as a historic site. The Park Service evaluates it and declines. Reasons: maintenance costs still too high, $1 million plus annually. Not historically significant enough, built 1927, relatively recent. Location not conducive to public access. Palm Beach is exclusive, not easily accessible to the general public. The estate tries offering it to the state of Florida. Florida declines, same reasons. The abandonment. By 1980, Mar-a-Lago sits empty and unwanted. The estate maintains minimal staff, caretakers, security, but the costs are draining Marjorie's estate. Annual maintenance, $1 million. No revenue, no purpose. Marjorie's executors try to sell it, but who can afford to buy and maintain a 128-room palace? Asking price $20 million, roughly $75 million today. No buyers. They lower the price to $15 million. No buyers. Over the next 5 years, 1980 to 1985, Mar-a-Lago sits empty. The furnishings are covered with sheets. The gardens begin to grow wild. The roof develops leaks. Marjorie's dream, her palace, her gift to America, is rotting. And then, in 1985, a buyer emerges. His name is Donald Trump. In 1985, Donald Trump is 39 years old. He's a New York real estate developer, ambitious, aggressive, hungry for status symbols. He has built Trump Tower in Manhattan. He owns casinos in Atlantic City. He's rich, but not Vanderbilt-level rich, not old money rich. He wants a trophy, a palace, something that screams success. He hears that Mar-a-Lago is for sale. Trump visits Palm Beach. He tours Mar-a-Lago. He sees 128 rooms, mostly unused, gold leaf ceilings, imported tiles, ocean-to-lake frontage, decay, years of minimal maintenance showing. Trump sees potential, not as a home, as a deal. The negotiation. Mar-a-Lago is listed for $15 million. Trump knows the estate is desperate. They've been trying to sell for 5 years. Maintenance costs are bleeding money. Trump offers $5 million for the estate and $3 million for the furnishings separately. The furnishings alone are worth approximately $8 million. Antiques, art, furniture Marjorie collected. Total offer is $8 million for estate plus furnishings worth $15 to $20 million. The executors hesitate, but they have no other buyers. Maintenance costs are unsustainable. They accept. November 1985, Donald Trump purchases Mar-a-Lago for $8 million, approximately 1/10 of the original construction cost adjusted for inflation. Trump is ecstatic. He now owns the former estate of America's richest heiress, a palace in Palm Beach, a monument, and he immediately begins planning how to profit from it.
Initially, Trump uses Mar-a-Lago as a private residence. He renovates portions, he stays there during winters. But maintaining Mar-a-Lago costs approximately $3 million annually, 1980s to 1990s. Even for Trump, this is unsustainable as a private residence. He needs revenue. 1995, the private club. In 1995, Trump converts Mar-a-Lago into a private club. The model? Members pay an initiation fee, initially $100,000, later raised to $200,000. Members pay annual dues, $14,000 plus. Club offers dining, events, beach access, prestige. Trump markets Mar-a-Lago as the most exclusive club in America. The irony is profound. Marjorie built Mar-a-Lago as a place for diplomatic unity and national service. Trump transforms it into a commercial club for the ultra-wealthy, the exact opposite of Marjorie's vision. Palm Beach resistance. Palm Beach's old money elite are horrified. They view Trump as a vulgar outsider, new money, crass, commercial. They oppose his club application. They fight it legally. Trump fights back. He threatens to subdivide Mar-a-Lago into smaller lots, destroying the estate, sue Palm Beach for discrimination. He also plays a brilliant card. He accepts Jewish members and African American members, groups that Palm Beach's other clubs exclude. This puts Palm Beach in a bind. If they block Trump's club, they look discriminatory. Trump wins. Mar-a-Lago becomes a private club. And Marjorie's dream, her winter White House, her gift to America, becomes a for-profit business. By 1995, the transformation is complete. Marjorie built Mar-a-Lago to create happiness, failed, she died lonely, unite her family, sailed, daughter rejected it, serve America, failed, government rejected it, posthumous desecration, Trump commercializes her dream. Mar-a-Lago didn't ruin Marjorie through fire or flood. It ruined her through isolation, false promises, and the ultimate betrayal, surviving her only to become everything she opposed.
1995 to 2005, the commercial palace. By 1995, Mar-a-Lago is no longer Marjorie Merriweather Post's dream of diplomatic unity. It is Donald Trump's private club, a business designed to generate profit from exclusivity. The transformation is complete and deliberate. The business model. Initiation fee $100,000, later raised to $200,000 in 2017. Annual dues $14,000 per member. Target membership 500 members, though actual numbers fluctuate. Projected annual revenue. Initiation fees variable, depends on new member enrollment. Annual dues $7 million, 500 members times $14,000. Events, dining, additional services, $3 to $5 million. Total estimated annual revenue, $10 to $15 million. Annual operating costs, estimated $5 to $8 million. Staff, maintenance, utilities, insurance. Net profit potential, $5 to $7 million annually. Mar-a-Lago is now a profit center, not a home, and certainly not a public service. Trump markets it aggressively. Mar-a-Lago is the most luxurious club in America. You're not just joining a club, you're joining history. The pitch works. Wealthy individuals, celebrities, business executives, foreign nationals pay to join. They come for status. Membership signals wealth and access. Access to Trump. Members can dine near him, interact casually. Networking. Other wealthy members, business opportunities. The property itself. Ocean views, pools, ballroom, gold leaf ceilings. What members get. Dining privileges, formal dining room, casual cafe, access to pools and beach, use of ballroom for private events, weddings, parties, guest rooms, limited availability, golf course access. Trump later adds a golf course nearby. What they don't get: privacy. Media frequently covers Mar-a-Lago events. Exclusivity from Trump himself. He circulates, makes himself visible. This is part of the appeal. The irony. Marjorie envisioned Mar-a-Lago as a place where America's leaders would gather for the good of the nation. Trump created a place where wealthy people pay six figures to eat near a celebrity businessman. The image is not just different, it is the opposite. Marjorie wanted service, Trump built commerce. Marjorie wanted unity, Trump created exclusivity. Marjorie wanted legacy, Trump wanted profit. And it works. Mar-a-Lago becomes one of Trump's most visible and profitable properties. Through the 2000s and early 2010s, Mar-a-Lago becomes Trump's primary winter residence and social headquarters. He spends approximately November through April there each year, the same season Marjorie spent there. But the atmosphere is entirely different. Marjorie's Mar-a-Lago, 1927 to 1973, formal dinners for diplomats and cultural elites, charitable galas, quiet, controlled, elegant. Guests invited by Marjorie personally. Purpose, cultural and diplomatic connection. Trump's Mar-a-Lago, 1995 to 2015. Loud parties with celebrities and business elites. Weddings. Trump hosts his own third wedding there in 2005 to Melania. Charity events, but often serving Trump's brand. Members pay to be there. Transactional, not relational. Purpose, profit, and personal brand building.
Trump loves the spectacle. He circulates through the dining room, greeting members, shaking hands, being photographed. He holds court at his regular table. Members can see him, approach him, ask for photos. This is the experience they pay for: proximity to Trump. The weddings. Mar-a-Lago becomes a popular wedding venue. The ballroom, the gardens, the ocean views, all are stunning backdrops. Trump charges $100,000 to $250,000 plus for private events like weddings. Prices vary depending on guest count, services, exclusivity. In January 2005, Trump marries Melania Knauss at Mar-a-Lago. The wedding is lavish, star-studded, heavily covered by media. Over 350 guests attend, including Bill and Hillary Clinton, Katie Couric, Billy Joel, Simon Cowell, P. Diddy. The wedding is quintessential Trump, expensive, public, designed for maximum attention. And it happens in Marjorie's ballroom, the room she designed for diplomatic receptions. The desecration continues. In June 2015, Donald Trump announces his candidacy for President of the United States, and Mar-a-Lago becomes his unofficial campaign headquarters. Trump holds strategy meetings there, campaign staff stays there, donors visit, media camps outside the gates. The estate Marjorie envisioned as a unifying winter White House becomes the base for one of the most divisive political campaigns in American history. Trump's campaign is built on immigration restrictions, build the wall, economic nationalism, America first, anti-establishment rhetoric, drain the swamp, and personal attacks on opponents, crooked Hillary. Whether you supported Trump or opposed him, one thing was clear: his campaign was polarizing, not unifying, and it was headquartered at Mar-a-Lago. Journalists begin referring to Mar-a-Lago as the Winter White House, not officially, but colloquially, because Trump spends so much time there. The irony is staggering. Marjorie wanted Mar-a-Lago to be the Winter White House, a place of bipartisan unity and diplomatic cooperation. Trump made it the Winter White House, a place of partisan warfare and political controversy. Marjorie got her wish, but in the worst possible way. November 8, 2016, the impossible happens.
November 8, 2016, Donald Trump wins the presidential election, defeating Hillary Clinton. The victory shocked pollsters, media, and much of the country. Few believed Trump could win, but he did, and on January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump is inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States. Mar-a-Lago is now unofficially but undeniably the winter White House. Marjorie's dream has come true. Sort of. From 2017 to 2021, President Trump spends approximately one-third of his presidency at Mar-a-Lago. Visits to Mar-a-Lago during presidency, 25-plus trips, each lasting multiple days. Total days at Mar-a-Lago, 130-plus days out of 1,461 days in office. Cost to taxpayers for security during Mar-a-Lago visits, estimated $30 to $50 million. Secret Service, military support, travel, accommodations. Trump conducts official business at Mar-a-Lago, hosts foreign leaders, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, China's President Xi Jinping, holds strategy meetings with advisors, makes policy decisions, including military strikes, Syria missile strike ordered from Mar-a-Lago's dining terrace April 2017, conducts phone calls with world leaders. Mar-a-Lago is functioning exactly as Marjorie envisioned, a winter White House where the president conducts diplomacy. But the execution is a nightmare. The security disaster. Unlike the actual White House, a secured facility with controlled access, Mar-a-Lago is a private club. Problems? 1. Members can access the president. Club members pay $200,000 to join. In exchange, they get to eat dinner in the same dining room as the president. They can approach him, take photos, overhear conversations. In February 2017, Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Abe discuss North Korea's missile test in Mar-a-Lago's open-air dining terrace. Club members sit nearby. Some take photos of the discussion and post them on social media, including photos of the military aide carrying the nuclear football, the briefcase containing launch codes. Security experts are horrified. Classified discussions are happening in public spaces. 2. Staff can spy. Mar-a-Lago employs approximately 150 staff, servers, housekeepers, groundskeepers, etc. Many are foreign nationals, common in Florida hospitality industry. All have access to areas where the president stays. Counterintelligence officials warn Mar-a-Lago is a spy's paradise. Foreign intelligence services could easily plant agents as staff or members. 3. No secure communications. The White House has dedicated secure communication systems, SCIFs, or sensitive compartmented information facilities, for classified discussions. Mar-a-Lago does not. Trump conducts calls from regular phones. Discussions happen in open rooms. The risks are enormous, but Trump doesn't care. He loves Mar-a-Lago. It is his palace, his brand, his home. The profit problem. Another issue emerges. Trump profits from his own presidency. When Trump visits Mar-a-Lago, he brings Secret Service agents who rent rooms and pay for services, White House staff who stay at the club, media who book rooms nearby. All of this generates revenue for Trump's business. Critics call it a constitutional violation, the president profiting from his official government functions. Trump's defenders argue he has the right to visit his own property. The controversy rages, but Trump continues visiting Mar-a-Lago throughout his presidency. The COVID-19 pandemic. In March 2020, COVID-19 shuts down much of America, including Mar-a-Lago. The club closes to members. Trump cannot visit as freely. For the final year of his presidency, 2020 to 2021, Mar-a-Lago visits decreased dramatically, but Trump returns in January 2021 after leaving office. January 20th, 2021, Joe Biden is inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States. Donald Trump does not attend the inauguration, the first outgoing president to skip his successor's inauguration since Andrew Johnson in 1869. Instead, Trump flies to Mar-a-Lago. He arrives in the morning, hours before Biden takes the oath. Trump is no longer president. He is a former president, a private citizen, and Mar-a-Lago becomes his primary residence. For the first time since 2017, Trump lives at Mar-a-Lago full-time, but the club creates a problem, the residency dispute. In 1993, when Trump converted Mar-a-Lago into a private club, he signed an agreement with the town of Palm Beach stipulating Mar-a-Lago is a club, not a residence. No one, including Trump, can live there permanently. The agreement limits stays to 7 consecutive days, 3 weeks total per year. This was required to get zoning approval for the club. But now Trump is living at Mar-a-Lago full-time in violation of the agreement. Neighbors and Palm Beach officials protest. They demand enforcement. Trump's lawyers argue the agreement is outdated, unenforceable, or doesn't apply to him. The dispute drags on. As of 2024, Trump continues living at Mar-a-Lago despite the legal ambiguity. The irony: Trump turned Marjorie's home into a club for profit. Now he's trying to turn the club back into a home for himself. Marjorie built Mar-a-Lago to be a home. Trump destroyed that, and now he wants it back.
August 8, 2022. FBI agents execute a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. They are searching for classified documents that Trump allegedly took from the White House when he left office. The background: when a president leaves office, all presidential records, documents, emails, communications created during the presidency become property of the National Archives per the Presidential Records Act. Classified documents, marked top secret, secret, confidential, must be secured in approved facilities. After Trump left office in January 2021, the National Archives discovered that boxes of presidential records were missing. They contacted Trump's team. Some documents were returned, but archives officials believed more remained at Mar-a-Lago. In May 2022, Trump's lawyers allowed FBI agents to inspect a storage room at Mar-a-Lago. They found additional classified documents. Trump's team assured the FBI, "That's everything, no more classified documents here." But the FBI didn't believe them. In August 2022, they obtained a search warrant. The raid. On August 8, 2022, approximately 30 FBI agents arrive at Mar-a-Lago. They search Trump's personal office, storage rooms, and other areas of the estate. They seize over 11,000 documents, approximately 100 classified documents, marked confidential, secret, top secret, and higher classifications. Some documents contained intelligence on foreign governments, nuclear weapons information, defense plans, human intelligence sources. These documents were stored in cardboard boxes in a storage room, Trump's office desk drawer, and a bathroom, according to later photographs shown in court filings. The bathroom. Classified nuclear secrets in a Mar-a-Lago bathroom. The aftermath. In June 2023, Trump is indicted on 37 federal charges related to willful retention of national defense information, obstruction of justice, and making false statements. Trump denies wrongdoing. He claims he declassified the documents. No evidence supports this. The documents are his personal property, legally incorrect. The raid was political persecution. The case proceeds through courts. As of 2024, it remains unresolved, delayed by legal challenges. But the damage to Mar-a-Lago's image is done. Marjorie's winter White House, the palace where diplomats would gather for America's benefit, is now a crime scene. The FBI raided it. Classified documents were found in a bathroom. The desecration is complete. Despite, or perhaps because of, the controversies, Mar-a-Lago becomes Trump's political fortress. After leaving office, Trump remains the dominant figure in Republican politics. He holds rallies, he endorses candidates, he attacks enemies, he teases a 2024 presidential run, and he does it from Mar-a-Lago. The scene. Mar-a-Lago now serves multiple functions simultaneously. 1. Trump's residence, despite zoning disputes. 2. Private club, members still pay $200,000 to join. Now they dine with a former and possibly future president. 3. Political headquarters, advisors, donors, supporters visit constantly. 4. Media spectacle, journalists camp outside, every Trump appearance is news. Members pay not just for luxury, they pay for access to power, or the illusion of it. Dinners in Mar-a-Lago are now political theater. Trump sits at his usual table, supporters approach seeking photos, favors, endorsements. Deals are discussed, political, business, the lines blur. Media reports on who's visiting, what's being said. It is everything Marjorie opposed. Transactional, money for access. Divisive, politically partisan. Commercial, club membership fees fund Trump's political operation indirectly. And yet, it is exactly what Marjorie wanted. Mar-a-Lago is the center of American political power, just not the kind of power she imagined. We now have the full story. From 1927 to 2024, we can trace how Mar-a-Lago, Marjorie's dream palace, ruined her. The ruin was not a single event. It was a slow accumulation of failures, betrayals, and ironies. Marjorie built Mar-a-Lago to escape loneliness. It magnified it. 128 rooms, 20 acres, ocean views, gold leaf ceilings, and Marjorie ate dinner alone. The palace was too grand for intimacy. Guests felt intimidated. Family felt alienated. Marjorie's daughter Dina saw this clearly. Mar-a-Lago was not a home. It was a museum where her mother lived as an exhibit. Dina chose freedom. She became an actress, built her own life, visited Mar-a-Lago rarely. Marjorie spent decades in Mar-a-Lago surrounded by servants, but starved for genuine connection. The ruin? Wealth built a palace. The palace enforced loneliness. Loneliness consumed her. Mar-a-Lago was supposed to attract worthy partners. It attracted parasites. Marjorie married 4 times. Every marriage failed. Husband number 1, Edward Close, incompatible, divorced. Husband number 2, E.F. Hutton, wealthy but controlling, divorced when he couldn't dominate her. Husband number 3, Joseph Davies, used her wealth for diplomatic career, stole her art collection in divorce, the ultimate betrayal. Husband number 4, Herbert May, gigolo, married her money, not her. Mar-a-Lago didn't help, it made things worse. The problem, when you own the most expensive house in America, you can never know if someone loves you or your estate. Every man who courted Marjorie saw Mar-a-Lago, the palace, the wealth, the status. Did they see Marjorie or what she owned? She never knew. That uncertainty poisoned every relationship. The ruin? Mar-a-Lago was supposed to be a home for a family. It guaranteed Marjorie would never have one. Mar-a-Lago cost $7 million to build, 1927. It cost $1 million annually in the 1960s, 1970s, equals approximately $8 to $10 million today. Every year, forever. The costs included 60-plus full-time staff, salaries, benefits, utilities, cooling and heating 128 rooms, maintenance, constant repairs to imported materials, Spanish tiles crack, gold leaf tarnishes, marble needs polishing, property taxes, insurance, security. She could afford it, but the psychological cost was enormous. She was trapped. She couldn't sell Mar-a-Lago. Who would buy it? She couldn't abandon it. It was her identity. So she paid, every year, for a house that gave her nothing but loneliness. The ruin, Mar-a-Lago became a financial and emotional anchor, not freeing her, chaining her. Mar-a-Lago believed Mar-a-Lago could serve America. America rejected it. This was the cruelest betrayal. In 1967, Marjorie decided to donate Mar-a-Lago to the U.S. government. She imagined presidents hosting summits there, diplomats negotiating peace, America's leaders united in her palace. She died in 1973 believing this would happen. It didn't. The government evaluated Mar-a-Lago and said, "Too expensive, not practical, we don't want it." Marjorie's greatest act of patriotism, her most generous gift, was refused. For 8 years, 1973 to 1981, Mar-a-Lago sat empty. The government tried to give it away. No one wanted it. The ruin, Marjorie died believing her legacy was secure. Her legacy was unwanted. Trump bought Mar-a-Lago and transformed it into everything Marjorie opposed. Marjorie wanted a winter White House, non-commercial, public service, diplomatic unity, bipartisan, collaborative, cultural elevation, art, music, refinement. Trump created a private club, commercial, profit-driven, political division, partisan headquarters, spectacle, celebrity, controversy, media circus. Worse, Trump succeeded where Marjorie failed. Marjorie tried to make Mar-a-Lago the winter White House. Government refused. Trump made Mar-a-Lago the winter White House. It worked. 2017 to 2021, Trump used it constantly. The ultimate irony. Marjorie's dream came true, but in the hands of a man who represented everything she would have hated. Trump is transactional, everything has a price, divisive, builds brand on conflict, crass, gold toilets, not gold leaf art. Marjorie was idealistic, believed wealth could serve, unifying, wanted bipartisan cooperation, refined, patron of arts, culture, and sophistication. Trump is Marjorie's nightmare, and he owns her palace. The ruin? Marjorie's greatest creation became the monument to everything she opposed, and she wasn't alive to stop it. Marjorie Merriweather Post was worth $250 million at her peak, 1960s, approximately $2.5 billion today. She was the richest woman in America, possibly the richest woman in the world. She owned Mar-a-Lago, 128 rooms, Palm Beach, Hillwood Estate, 40 rooms, Washington, D.C., Camp Topridge, Adirondacks Retreat, General Foods Corporation, art collections worth tens of millions, yachts, jewelry, cars, staff. She had everything money could buy, and she died alone, lonely, and ultimately betrayed. Wealth cannot buy one, love. 4 marriages, all failed. Wealth attracts people, but it repels genuine connection. When you're the richest woman in America, every person who approaches you wants something, even if they don't realize it, even if they convince themselves they don't. Marjorie could never know, do you love me or what I own? That uncertainty poisoned every relationship. 2. Family. Marjorie wanted her daughter Dina to inherit her empire, continue her legacy, live at Mar-a-Lago. Dina refused. She chose acting, independence, a life that was hers. Marjorie felt betrayed, but Dina saw the truth. Inheriting Mar-a-Lago meant inheriting the loneliness. Dina chose freedom over fortune. Marjorie never forgave her. Marjorie believed donating Mar-a-Lago to the government would secure her legacy. Instead, government rejected it, unwanted. Estate decayed, 8 years empty. Trump bought it, cheaply. Trump commercialized it, private club. Trump politicized it, partisan headquarters. FBI raided it, crime scene. Marjorie wanted to be remembered as a patriotic philanthropist. Instead, she's remembered, when remembered at all, as the heiress who built Mar-a-Lago, the woman Trump bought the estate from. Trump owns her legacy now, literally and figuratively. Marjorie spent $7 million building Paradise. She spent 46 years living there, 1927 to 1973, and she spent those years profoundly unhappy, lonely, divorced repeatedly, alienated from her daughter, surrounded by servants, not friends. The palace didn't create happiness. It created the illusion of happiness. Parties, galas, photographs of smiling socialites. But behind the gold leaf ceilings, silence, emptiness, isolation. Wealth can buy comfort. It cannot buy joy. 5. Meaning. Marjorie believed Mar-a-Lago would give her life meaning. A winter White House, a gift to America, a legacy of service. It gave her none of that. Instead, Mar-a-Lago became a financial burden, bleeding money, an emotional prison, isolating her, a rejected gift, unwanted by government, a commercial property, Trump's club. Marjorie's life had no meaning that outlasted her. Her cereal fortune? General Foods was bought and sold, broken up, absorbed by other corporations. Her art collection? Scattered. Some donated to Smithsonian, some stolen by Joseph Davies. Her estates? Mar-a-Lago, Trump's club, Hillwood, museum, but barely visited. Nothing she built endured as she intended. There's a pattern to Mar-a-Lago's history. Everyone who touches it suffers. Marjorie built it, died lonely, rejected, betrayed. The U.S. government inherited it, rejected it, too expensive, politically toxic. Trump bought it, profited from it, but also endless controversies, FBI raid, legal charges. Mar-a-Lago doesn't destroy people quickly, it destroys them slowly. It promises grandeur, status, legacy. It delivers isolation, controversy, regret. The curse is simple. Mar-a-Lago is too grand to be a home, too expensive to maintain, too symbolic to be private, too controversial to be peaceful. Anyone who tries to make it theirs discovers it owns them, not the other way around. September 12, 1973. Marjorie dies at Hillwood, her Washington, D.C. estate, not Mar-a-Lago. She does not die in the palace she built. She dies in a smaller, quieter house. Her funeral is dignified. Obituaries are respectful. She is buried in Rock Creek Cemetery, Washington, D.C. And she dies believing her legacy is secure. She believes Mar-a-Lago will be the winter White House. Her gift will serve America. She will be remembered as a patriot and philanthropist. She is wrong about all of it. Within a year, the government rejects Mar-a-Lago. Within 12 years, Trump buys it. Within 22 years, it's a commercial club. Within 44 years, the FBI raids it. Marjorie's dream becomes Trump's fortress. Her winter White House becomes a crime scene. Her legacy of unity becomes a symbol of division. And Marjorie never knew. That ignorance is the only mercy. If Marjorie could see Mar-a-Lago today, Trump's face on memberships, classified documents in bathrooms, partisan battles fought from her ballroom, it would destroy her. The palace she built to prove wealth could create meaning has become proof that wealth creates only emptiness. We return to the question, who actually paid for Mar-a-Lago? Marjorie Merriweather Post? Yes, she paid in every way possible. Financially, $7 million construction, 1927, $1 million annually maintenance, 1927 to 1973, equals $46 million total. Total, $53 million plus 1927 to 1973 dollars equals $700 million today. Emotionally, 4 failed marriages, wealth attracts parasites, profound loneliness, 128 rooms, no one to share them with, daughter's rejection, Dina chose freedom over fortune, died believing she succeeded, she hadn't. Yes, approximately 1,500 workers built Mar-a-Lago, 1924 to 1927. Italian stonemasons, Spanish tile setters, local laborers. Many were poorly paid, some were injured, construction accidents common in 1920s. Their names are forgotten. They built Marjorie's paradise. They paid with labor, risk, anonymity. The U.S. government? Yes, indirectly. Taxpayers funded Secret Service protection during Trump's visits, 1917 to 2021, $30 to $50 million. Military support, travel costs, security infrastructure. Americans paid for Trump to use Marjorie's rejected gift. Trump? No, Trump profited. Purchase price, $8 million, 1985. Revenue from club, 1995 to present, estimated $200 million, plus initiation fees, dues, and events over 29 years. Mar-a-Lago didn't cost Trump, it enriched him. But Trump will pay eventually. Legal battles over classified documents, residency disputes, endless controversies. Mar-a-Lago extracts a price from everyone. Trump is not exempt. Mar-a-Lago was built to prove wealth can create happiness, grandeur can create meaning, a palace can create legacy. It proved the opposite. Wealth isolates, grandeur imprisons. Palaces outlive their builders and betray their dreams. Marjorie built Mar-a-Lago to escape loneliness. It became her prison. She built it to create family unity. Her daughter fled from it. She built it to serve America. America rejected it. She gave it away to preserve her legacy. Trump desecrated it. Every intention failed. Every dream collapsed. On August 8, 2022, when FBI agents raided Mar-a-Lago and found classified documents in a bathroom, the ruin of Marjorie Merriweather Post was complete. Her palace, built for diplomatic unity, was raided as a crime scene. Her winter White House, built for America's leaders, stored nuclear secrets in a toilet. Her legacy, built to endure, became a punchline. And Marjorie, dead for 49 years, could not defend it. Mar-a-Lago ruined Marjorie not through catastrophe, but through slow accumulation. Isolation, the palace was too grand for intimacy. Betrayal, 4 husbands, 1 daughter, 1 government, all rejected her. Delusion, she died believing she'd succeeded. Desecration, Trump transformed her dream into its opposite. The ruin was not a single moment, it was a lifetime, and it continues still. Today, Mar-a-Lago stands on the edge of Palm Beach, overlooking the Atlantic. The gold leaf ceilings still gleam, the Spanish tiles still shine, the ballroom still hosts parties. But the dream is dead. Marjorie is dead. Her vision is dead. And Mar-a-Lago endures not as a monument to her success, but as evidence of her failure. It proves wealth cannot buy love. 4 marriages, all failed. Grandeur cannot prevent loneliness. 128 rooms, profoundly alone. Generosity can be rejected.
Government refused her gift. Legacies can be desecrated. Trump commercialized her dream. Mar-a-Lago is not a palace, it is a warning that monuments to ego become prisons, a warning that what we build to prove we matter often proves we don't, a warning that wealth unchecked by humility creates only emptiness. Marjorie Merriweather Post had everything money could buy, and it bought her nothing that mattered. She built a paradise. She lived in isolation. She gave it to America. America rejected it. She died believing she'd succeeded. She was wrong. And her palace, her dream, her prison, her ruin stands today as Trump's fortress, America's scandal, and Marjorie's eternal humiliation. Beautiful, yes, but that is just the marble. Behind these walls is the truth. Mar-a-Lago didn't ruin Marjorie Merriweather Post because of what it was. It ruined her because of what it could never be: a home. If you enjoyed this investigation into wealth, loneliness, and the palaces that promise everything and deliver nothing, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support makes these detailed stories possible. Tell me in the comments, which tragic heiress story should we explore next? Doris Duke, the lonely tobacco heiress, $1 billion, no heirs, mysterious death. Barbara Hutton, the Woolworth heiress, 7 failed marriages, died broke. Huguette Clark, the copper heiress, $300 million fortune, lived in hospital for 20 years. Consuelo Vanderbilt, forced to marry a duke, bought her own divorce.